When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
There are 8 teams competing in round 1 and the order is decided by a draw. The ideal position, pole position, is to go last. There are 3 riders per team in round 1. Every round of the 3 riders counts towards the team total, in this case faults and time, and a combined score of all 3 for the final team score. The rankings are decided by faults first and foremost. If you drop below the cut line, you're out. Stay above the cut line and you're on to round 2 as part of the top 4. 4 in, 4 out. It's this simple for round 1. Go fast, no rails, stay above the cut line and you're into round 2.
League show jumping. This of course is our second trip here to Monterey, but we have a little bit of a different feeling here this evening. Of course last week you saw the team competition taking place in that beautiful sweeping grass arena framed by the mountains, and we're still framed by the mountains here, but we're giving these team riders and horses a different challenge tonight. They'll be jumping indoors for the first time this season. This is the only indoor leg that we have of the year, and it really creates a completely different atmosphere, a completely different environment. Of course the arena is just that little bit tighter as well. It's by no means tight in here, but you know, it's just a very different environment, and it will be so interesting to see which riders the teams have chosen to field that they feel will be most suited to this environment. We've got some very experienced riders coming up. We've got the likes of Shane Sweetnam. He wasn't here last week and he'll be jumping for the Coast Spies. We also have top riders like Dara Kenny and Lily Keenan. They're both on the Trailblazers team. Lily, of course, was the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix last week as well. Team Helios come here after 5 wins now. But let's take a little look around the course. Fence 1 is the Cabana Coast Oxa, and they head there down at that far end of the arena. It's then a left-handed turn quite sharply to an upright at Fence 2. They curve through the middle of the arena then to this large oxa at Fence 3 up to $1.45 in height. It's right-handed again then, all the way around the arena down to this double at 4A and B. 1 stride in there, and then it's another right-handed curve to the Premier Equestrian Oxa at Fence 5. They've then got a little bit more of a run around the back of a couple of arenas down to Fence 6, which has a water tray underneath, and then a related line down to the CP Oxa at 7. That's very much up to height at $1.55. It's left-handed then around the back of Fence 3 to another very up to height Oxa at 8, and then another quick distance down to another 1 striding double at 9, the Major League show jumping double. Right-handed again then, this one comes up very quickly indeed. This is a skinny fence at Fence 10 with the piñata designs there, just keeping with the Mexican flavour. And then the final line is from 11 to 12, the La Silla Oxa with another water tray underneath, and then just a couple of strides down to the Banorte upright to finish. A lot of the riders have said that this course looks very much up to height, but let's take a look at the order of go. Of course, they competed in a bit of a challenge to decide the order of go, and it's quite an interesting lineup. Team Helios, of course, are leading the way in the overall season championship, and they'll be first to go out of the starting gates this evening. Team Legano are in 8th place in the season championship. They go second. They will then be followed by the Show Plus Northern Lights, who've had a couple of tricky performances. They're in 7th in the season standings. Coast Spies come next. They've got a good lineup, and Shane Sweetnam adding to the team this week will be an interesting one to see for sure. The Trailblazers follow them in. They were last week's 2nd place team, and it's getting better and better for them with a fresh injection of talent following that mid-season transfer window. Well, we're kicking things off, as I say, with Team Helios. Cian White's beside me. Cian, this is looking like a really interesting competition. Could be totally different to last week.
Oh, man, Hannah, I am pumped for tonight. It's the first indoor show we've ever had on Major League Show Jumping. You know, we got Helios kicking us off tonight. They've been obviously on an absolute tear, winning 5 out of 7. New team tonight, and I don't know, I can't wait to see what happens tonight.
Yeah, so on their team this evening, we've got Bliss Hears, Carl Cook and Eugenio Garza. Carl and Eugenio both jumped on the team last week and helped them, of course, to that 5th win. Eugenio rides the same horse, but actually, other than that, it's quite a different lineup. But Bliss is certainly a rider that you wouldn't want to discount in this competition, even individually.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Team manager Ashley Bond is sitting out this week also. She also sat out last week. She was on that winning team a few weeks ago in San Miguel, but she's going to take the coaching reign again. You know, Bliss was on the winning team also on her other horse, so this is kind of a new ride for Bliss. However, she was on the team in Vancouver when they won on this horse as well. So, you know, this team is stacked. They got a lot of options, and I'm sure they took the indoor environment into, I'm sure they thought it through before they decided who they were fielding this week.
Yeah, for sure. It's so important, isn't it, to choose the horses and riders that would suit this environment. And this is a little bit more of a smaller, more compact horse that might suit these tighter turns that are needed.
Yeah, you know, all of Helios's riders really have a strong group of horses, and they've been able to kind of maneuver and switch as we go. This horse is definitely very suited for this ring. And so far, so good.
So this is Bliss's 3rd appearance for the team. She rode on the team in Vancouver and then in San Miguel as well, double clear in San Miguel.
And we see her coming for home. You know, this is probably the most difficult part here. You have the skinny right by that VIP on the side. And then this gets very delicate, 3 strides. Keep it together.
What a way to start. Amazing way to kick things off in this competition. Punches the air, and even though they've had a lot of wins, it means so much to them, this competition, doesn't it, for this team? And there we have the time, 64.26. So there's nothing at all to add for Bliss Hears.
And actually, we're going to have one time fault. So that time allowed is 64. She's just over 64.26. You know, last week that definitely wouldn't have mattered with quite big scores, but today's a new game. We'll see if that kind of comes into play or not.
Yeah, the time was very influential last week, and we saw some really high faulting scores for all of the teams coming through. But of course, don't forget that the score from round 1, once they get into round 2, that score from round 1 is completely discounted. Yeah,
you know, the key to round 1 is just to get in. So you see on the right side of your video board, you got the 8 teams, that cut line. All you have to do is stay above that cut line and you move on. Drop below it and you're out. So we're 3 rounds tonight. We'll kind of walk you through as we go, but really it's just to stay above that cut line.
So Carl Cook is next in for Team Helios with Fessy Bell. This has been a pretty consistent horse for him. Carl actually has jumped 5 clear rounds for the team. He dropped 1 pole in round 1 here last week, and so that's actually an 83% clear round rate, 5 clears out of 6 rounds jumped.
You know, Carl's been, he's had quite a year. You know, he won a big 5-star Grand Prix at the Hamptons. He was 2nd a few weeks ago in the 5-star Grand Prix in San Miguel. He's got a great string of horses. I know he used his good horse Caillou last week, and Hannah, we just see that first rail come down.
Yeah, I felt there that the distance from 8 to 9 got a little bit short, and I think actually walking it, you could find that could be a little bit short as well.
Yeah, I know last week we had issues with that Major League combination. It didn't jump so well. It was on also a bit of a short distance. And again tonight, we see there it's on, again, a bit of a short distance. They need to jump that Oxford and really slow down and fit that 5-stride. And he's had one down. He's also had a time fault here, Hannah.
Yeah, that's so interesting, isn't it? Both of the first riders for Team Helios picking up a time penalty. That's not something we're used to them seeing them do.
Yeah, that's very rare for this group. You know, they're now sitting on 6, 128.8. You know, in general, 8 faults usually gets in. So, you know, I'd say at this moment, you're probably looking for a clear from Eugenio. I don't think you want to go back to the barn on 10. You know, you never know how it's going to shape up, but I definitely would feel a lot more comfortable going back on 6 than 10.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of 100%, Eugenio is actually the only rider on the team circuit who has a 100% clear round rate. He's jumped 6 clear rounds in total, 6 out of 6.
Yeah, you know, Eugenio has really brought a strong group of horses to Major League this year. He's had some amazing results, and he's been kind of the anchor of this team, I'd say. You know, often he ends up in that gold medal jump off. I'm not sure if he's been beat, but there we go, Hannah, another early rail.
Oh, that is just agony. At fence 3, he just had quite a pace up. I don't know if maybe he was looking at the fact that his teammates had both had a time penalty and had a bit of an eye on the clock. He's naturally a fast rider anyway, but it's so unlucky to have that.
You know, it's interesting. We've been outside all season to sort of get this kind of cool indoor vibe and indoor format tonight. You know, it's a bit of a different sport. You know, we've got VIP actually on 3 sides tonight. You know, it's kind of cool how they've set up this indoor here. You see him slow down well and get that taken care of there. Yeah, he really needs to hold this to 4. Time looks a little close also.
Yeah, it is looking a little bit tight. Interesting you say about the VIP on 3 sides. A couple of riders have commented on the fact that actually it's very close where you know the spectators are sitting, but this is so uncharacteristic. 2 fences down now.
We've had the last down also. I know it's showing 4 on the screen. It's actually 8.
Yeah, the final fence 8. Coming down.
So that's going to bring their team up to 14 faults. We'll wait for that to update here, but once that comes up to 14 faults, 192.3. You know, that's uncharacteristic of Helios. Now, last week 14 was fine. 14 got in last week.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be 8 for Eugenio, and that means that the team total will be in fact 14, as you say. Well, here we go then with our next team in. It's going to be the turn of Team Legano. Carly Fairty, Natalie Dean and Erin Ballard all coming forward here. Legano still in 8th place, but they've had a tricky time, haven't they? They've had some really not great results, but they did have that great win in Ottawa. Yeah, you know, they won in Ottawa. I know I saw the power rankings this week. We talked about whether or not that was lucky, because they have not really made the cut line other than Ottawa. Sometimes some bad luck, but you know, they kind of have 2 good performances a week, but they have a hard time putting together 3. You never know what 2 it's going to be. Yeah, I think what's still interesting to me about this team as well is that they had the opportunity to make some changes in the mid-season transfer window, but chose to keep the same squad. And actually, this is the same lineup that they had last week, same lineup of riders. And they're the same riders as well that they took to San Miguel. Yeah, and I know Kent Farrington will be back on this team for the last 2 legs in California, so that'll be a nice boost. But now you see they've got that Helios score updated in that top corner, so you see 14, 192.3. So basically, all 8 teams are going to ride 3 riders, 3 in a row. We're going to add those scores together, and the top 4 teams move on, bottom 4 out. If there's a tie in faults, we go to the time. So the time only matters in this round if there's a tie for faults. We'll kind of keep you guys up to date as we go through that. So last week we saw that actually quite high faulting rounds and quite high faulting team scores. Ooh. She just was reaching over that distance there, landed quite heavily on the back rail, actually ended up making more room for her down to the double at 9 in a way. You know, that was a great recovery. If she can bring this home, I think 4 faults would be a great start here for this team. The front bar again. Okay, so she's going to come home on 8, and the time is also going to get her. Yeah, that's so interesting. This is now the 3rd rider with time faults, Eugenia Garza being the only rider not to pick up time faults yet. But Carly didn't look like she was hanging around in there either. Yeah, you know, it seems like the time, again, you know, last week I think we noticed it was a factor, probably not the factor if you took care of it early. But I think after we hit big scores last week, people are thinking of jumping clear and not necessarily worrying about the clock. And, you know, so far we've got some big scores to start. Natalie Dean then is next in with Coco Lina. As I say, again, another rider that rode last week, and she also rode in San Miguel as well. 1 down in San Miguel and 2 down last week.
You know, last week was interesting because she was very fast actually coming to the last line and clear. And they were actually in quite a good position if she could have brought it home. And, you know, I remember she got a bit stuck on a count. The combination ended up having like the last 2 jumps down, which ended up kind of pushing them out. But this is a strong combination. You know, this horse has been very competitive in 5-star Grand Prix around the world. It's nice to see her really coming out with something strong. And I think we're going to get a clear round from Natalie tonight.
She's quite consistently in the top 100 in the under-25 world rankings as well. I think she's 96 or 98th at the moment, and it takes a lot of consistency to do that. Yeah,
you know, she's got a great string of horses, and her trainer Lon Furter really has done a good job of making sure she's well equipped to jump the biggest shows in the world. She's got a great support staff, and I think this might be that night that Legano gets above that cut line. You know, Erin Ballard's also coming in a very strong horse behind Natalie, so if she can bring this home, I think they're in a good position with that leadoff score.
Again, she's got a very good pace up coming here to fence 8.
Slow it down here, take your time. And then same thing here. She's been quite quick. I think the time is all right. And this 3 gets short, and she's a bit deep and has that front bar.
So that fence is falling for quite a few people. So it's 1 fence down. She's good for time, 62.29, but it's going to be 4 for Natalie Dean. So Team Legano now go on to 13.
So 13, 126.95. So this is kind of why you save your best rider for last. They've got Erin Ballard, one of the best riders in the world. This horse, I believe, was 3rd in the Grand Prix in Toronto back in August, so it's quite a horse, and they need to clear round. The clear keeps them above Helios. You know, if you're in the top 2 when you leave the ring, you want to be in first. You don't want to be in second.
Yeah, you very much want to be as good as you can, and really, if she needs a clear to keep them ahead of Team Helios. It's interesting, as you say, that she was 3rd at Toronto, because that also is a slightly smaller arena, and it's also on a sand surface. This is arguably the most similar to that.
Yeah, you know, I think this is probably a great choice of horse for tonight. You know, if you need to clear in a big moment, you know, Erin's definitely the one you got to call on. So let's see if she can bring this home.
Well, Legano, as I say, have had that fantastic win in Ottawa, but with the various 7th and 8th places, and a good finish here would be so valuable for them, because the points further down the lineup in our team standings are quite tight.
You know, so far this horse is absolutely flying.
It's a very athletic horse, isn't it? Really can pick up over these fences, and she's got really pretty incredible speed going here.
I just hope she just calms it down. You know, the time at this moment for her is not really a factor.
She is riding this like a jump off already.
Yeah, you know, she's been fast. She just needs to be clear. Just slow it down a little here. And you know, that's really unfortunate there. You know,
really unlucky. Yeah, she was a little bit overshot the line there to the skinny as well. Well, comes home with 2 fences down. It'll be 8 for Erin Ballard. She's well inside the time allowed. That's our fastest round so far by quite a long way. But it's a team total for Team Legano of 21. Their cumulative time is 1:86.93. So they're quite a bit faster than Helios, but 21 could be in the top 4, but I think it might be tricky.
You know, I wonder if you asked Erin if she could ride that again, if she would have just kind of taken a breather after that CP. Slowed down and jumped those last 2 lines. You know, they really needed to clear that. They did not need a fast round, and maybe rode a little faster than necessary there, and I think it cost them. You know, it's going to put them into second. You know, in this class, I think the worst feeling is leaving the ring after only 2 teams have gone, being in second. You really want to be the top there.
Yeah. Well, the next team that we have coming into the ring are the Show Plus Northern Lights. They're made up of Juan Ortiz with Odile Vidier, Vanessa Mannix and Carmela Zed, and Sean Jobin and Darius. Now, the Northern Lights have been pretty unlucky in their last 3 competitions.
You know, their team manager also had some bad luck. She had delayed flights. She hasn't been able to get to Mexico for the last few weeks with some bad luck. She made it today, so I think that might be the turnaround of the luck for this team. Jacqueline Patmore's in the house. You know, these guys are due for a little luck, and you know, they've been very consistent. They've been very close. A lot of times, you know, 5th, 4th. They've been on the podium. You know, last week they would have gone on to the second round, but Juan had an unfortunate elimination after the fact, so just hasn't quite gone their way for these 2 tour stops. But I think tonight might be different.
I mean, Juan has been a fantastic rider for the team and really shown that he can jump in a number of different arenas. He usually rides a lot of these very large horses, and they've specifically chosen Odile for him to ride tonight because this is the smallest of his horses. And, you know, it's one that he's known for quite a while. He's had the horse since it was 6 or 7. It was ridden by Darren Lynn, but Juan's had the horse for quite a while. And this is the horse of his they feel might suit this arena best.
You know, he was a little deep into that double, but the horse really kind of backed up and jumped that well. Time so far is good. I think he's on a nice pace. You know, in this class, getting that lead-off good score is so key. You know, with Helios, you know, even though both Eugenio and Carl struggled a bit, having Bliss put that first clear in really makes a big difference.
Yeah, clear but 1 time penalty, so we're still actually looking for somebody to be clear inside the time. There again, that distance from 8 to 9 has just caught him out.
Yeah, that Major League double seems to be difficult yet again. Stay off the front here, and easy.
Well, nicely down the final line, but he's going to be quite over the time allowed.
Time here is going to be a big factor. Unfortunately, that's going to be as bad as knocking another one down, because that's 8 faults, 4 jumping, and 4 time. So 8 faults and 67.23 means you're also slow. Yeah. So that's not necessarily the start they wanted, but you know, if Vanessa can put down a clear here, then you know they're right back in the driver's seat.
And Vanessa's quite on form, actually. She's done really well in our last couple of, you know, in our Grand Prix last week. In the Grand Prix in San Miguel, she did extremely well as well. And she's had some really good results already in the 5 stars earlier on this week. Carmela Z, though, is one of her, well, it is her newer ride, but it's certainly one that she's been really excited about, and one that she thinks has got all the potential to be one of her top horses. Yeah,
you know, this horse is very cool. I've seen it a few times now. I know Vanessa's really excited about it, and she's been really focusing on the team events down here in Mexico. Not sure how much indoor experience it has, but you know, Canadians have a lot of indoor experience themselves riding, so I suspect Vanessa's going to be able to put this together well tonight.
I think that's definitely got to be a factor here, hasn't it? I mean, just, you know, when I was walking the course, a couple of riders did comment on the fact that especially down this line, where we have 4A and B along the side there, the spectators are really very close, and that's something that they have to be used to jumping indoors. It's not something that they've had to deal with other than really at Toronto so far on the Major League circuit, but it's something that Vanessa is obviously used to and perhaps passes on that experience to the horse a little bit here.
Yeah, you know, this tour has been very unique down here in Mexico. You know, we had San Miguel in the big grass field at night, which was kind of a different feel than we had last week, Lucia in the historic grass ring, and then this week we get a cool indoor show here in Lucia, and Vanessa's bringing this home clear so far. Time is tight though, Hannah.
Yeah, it's very tight for time, but really nice jumping.
Come on. It's going to be 2. It's going to be 2. The jumps are up. 2 time. It's going to put them on 10. The good news is 10 is so far the best. However, we got 1 rider to go because Helios is on 14, and the first 2 have had time faults. Obviously, if Sean were to go around with 4 faults, they'll probably be slower than Helios. So they really still need to clear out of them. 4 faults is probably going to put them in a second.
I think the fact that the Northern Lights have had now, they've missed out on the top 4 twice purely on time. I hope that it doesn't happen for them a 3rd time.
You know, this team really deserves to make the second round, and Sean deserves a clear. He's been so close a few times. I know this would mean a ton to him to bring home a clear, and and really put this team in a good position to make round 2.
Sean again jumped on the team in San Miguel and last week here in Monterey as well. Jumped clear actually last week, but picked up 3 for time.
You know, in theory, you could take 3 time faults and still put themselves in a position to move forward, but a rail here would be costly. He really needs to leave these up today.
Even 1 or 2 time, you know, he might just ease off that pace a little bit, but we still have some really strong teams to come, and it's all relative sometimes in these results.
That's the thing, you know, when you go 7th or 8th, you know exactly what you have to do. When you go 3rd, you're still kind of guessing, so you definitely want to get out of that ring with as few as possible. And here you just got to slow this down and make a little space for A. That was really well done.
That was really well ridden, actually. That's one of the best we've seen down that line, I think.
I hate to say it, but time is going to be a factor. Come on, Sean, leave it up. Come on.
What a round.
65.94. Hannah, I believe that's going to be 2. And 2 would be enough to put them ahead of Helios and in the driver's seat so far after 3 teams.
Yeah, well, we just have confirmation of that now. 2 time faults for Sean Jobin will put the Show Plus Northern Lights on 12 in total. So as you can see from that graphic on the right-hand side of the screen, it is the slowest time, but 12 keeps them in the lead. Yeah,
you know, like we said, in this first round, it's just about getting in. So, you know, if you make round 2, you start from scratch, so it doesn't matter how many faults you have to get through. Now, we do have some strong teams. We have Spy Coast, we have Trailblazers, we have Eye Candy, we have some heavy hitters coming, but, you know, that 12 is in a good position right now.
Well, next up, we, of course, have the Spy Coast Spies. And this man is such a key part of the team. They're represented here tonight by Shane Sweetnam, Lacey Gilbertson, and Jordan Coyle. And Shane was not here for the team last week, but they still managed a 4th place finish in the end. So he could make a bit of a difference to them tonight.
Yeah, you know, they've consistently made that cut line. They've been probably one of the most consistent teams all year. They haven't been on the top of the podium yet. They've been 2nd a number of times. They were 4th last week. Currently 3rd in the championship race. You know, Shane was not here last week, so getting him back on this team and adding that extra punch of firepower could be huge tonight.
Well, again, he's a competitor who's very used to jumping in such a range of arenas. He's very used to jumping indoors as well.
And, you know, for those at home that are new to this competition, you know, round 1, you know, if you think Formula 1, this is like the qualifying. So really it's just about getting in, you know, getting into the race. And, you know, basically the top 4 teams get into the race and the bottom 4 go home. So this is really just about qualifying and getting in.
Again, he's got a really good pace up here. And the Spy Coast Spies, they just really deserve a good result. They're in 3rd in the season standings. They're on 40 points. And that's just 1 point behind Eye Candy, who are in 2nd.
Slow it down. All right, and time here looks fine. He's been quite efficient. Bring it home. Watch the front bar here. Well done. All right, Hannah, there you go. There's our first clear.
That is how it's done. There's a reason that Shane Sweetnam is one of the best riders in the world at the moment. There's a reason he's won so many top-level competitions. And he gives us our first clear, 60.48 seconds. It's a really, really fast time as well. What a start for the Spy Coast Spies.
You know, in this competition, that is how you want to start, and that's a fantastic start. And, you know, coming up next, we have what we call Spy Coast's secret weapon, Lacey Gilbertson.
Yeah, I think, you know, Lacey has been really a rider to admire in this series so far. She's been very consistent, but she's been getting better and better. She is actually the rider who has jumped more clears than any other rider on this circuit so far. She's jumped 9 clear rounds for the team. She just had a pole down in the 2nd round in Monterey, and then her other one was in Traverse City. But because she's been on the team quite a few times, she's jumped a lot of double clears. Yeah, 9 clear rounds. That's more than anybody else.
You know, this is one of those positions where all that experience really pays off. You know, she comes in, she knows what she's got to do. You know, she's jumped this class a number of times now over 2 seasons. We've seen incredible progress from her as a rider over 2 years. And, you know, like we see Shane delivering that clear, you know, it really takes some pressure off. You know, you look at that scoreboard, you say, okay, we got to get in 12 or less. So with Lacey and Jordan coming behind, they basically know they could have 2 down and keep the lead.
Yeah. She's been jumping this horse on the team, and she's also been jumping Carlin van der Vennehoff as well, who arguably might be a slightly more experienced horse for her, but she's obviously chosen Damsel Santamel as a horse that she feels is suited to this arena.
Easy. Light rub, but she got away with it there. And time is tight here. She's pushing it a little.
She's working hard round here as well, isn't she? You can really see she's just doing everything she can to set up for every single fence.
All right. The jumps are up.
Yeah, fantastic round from her, really. You know, brilliant clear jumping, but it is going to be 3 for time. It still leaves a little bit of room, though, for Jordan Coyle.
Yeah, you know, 3 for time. You know, Jordan can have 2 down, and they'll hold the lead. And, you know, after 4 teams, you'd feel very comfortable. I think this format being the lead, so... You know, Jordan's usually quite quick, so I wouldn't think the time would be a big factor for him. But really, you know, 2 down or less, and they're going to be in a great spot here.
Jordan, again, has been another rider who's been really key for the team. He's jumped on the team squad several times already this season, 4 times, in fact. And he's been the rider chosen for the medal jump-off a couple of times as well.
Sure, and you know, if you think about it, they're right now 3rd in the championship race, with the final being worth double points. You know, I'd say Spy, Coast, Eye Candy are still very much in this race for the top of the podium. Obviously, a win tonight would be huge for either of those teams, but you know, trying to close that gap on Helios a bit. Helios is kind of sitting in a position right now. We're not sure if they're going to get into the 2nd round or not, so this could be a big swing tonight if Spy Coast and or Eye Candy can have a big result.
I think it would be huge if they could. A lot of the riders are saying that, oh, you know, Helios have had 5 wins, so they're the hot favourite to win the overall series. But actually, when you look at the numbers, yes, they are quite a way in front, but it really is quite open for Spy Coast and for Team Eye Candy. We haven't seen many people have fence 6.
No, but we've had our first rail, so now Jordan knows he's really got to tighten this up and get home. He could have 1 more if the time is all right, but he really wants to get home with leaving these things up.
Oh,
and there's the 2nd, Hannah. Now he has to be clear. Time is also going to be very close.
The pace down that line had me on the edge of my seat.
He's handled that. Time is... He's inside. So he's done it. We said he had to be 8 faults or less. He is 8 faults, and they're moving to the top. 11 faults, 190.27. You know, so far so good. I'd say Spy Coast is in a great spot. You know, 4 teams to go. They're going to be 1, and they know they're moving on.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good position for them. Certainly Team Legano are going to be feeling quite under pressure. They're going to be feeling quite threatened. But really sort of 11, 12, 14. Helios are quite fast as well. So it's quite hard to tell, really, how this is going to play out.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say. You know, obviously leaving the ring after 4 teams being first, you'd be fairly confident you're gonna be in that top 4. But you know, we have some strong teams to come, and you know, these classes too, especially indoors, the more you get to watch and see the class and see where the issues are, the you know, I always say it's a bit of an advantage coming later. You know, you get to know the striding, see what jumps are hard to jump. Obviously tonight that time is a factor, and everyone's got to think about it.
Has to be a factor, but the Trailblazers are a team who certainly usually do go really quite quickly. Here's their lineup for tonight. It's Dara Kenny, followed by Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne, and then Lily Keenan. Lily, who was our winner of the 5-star Grand Prix last week.
Now, I'd say, Hannah, this team, I don't know if they still have a chance at the top of the podium in the championship race, but they definitely have a shot to get on the podium. at the end of this championship. They had a great result last week. They've really stacked their lineup. You know, Kara Rather, the team manager, has been working very hard at sort of fielding a very strong team for the second half, and I think she's really achieved that. Let's see if they can deliver for her tonight.
Yeah, they've actually been on the podium 3 times this year already, but then in the other 4 legs they've been 7th or 6th, so that's what's pulled their score down a bit, and that's what's made them be in 5th place in the season standings. But points-wise, they're a bit off the pace from the likes of iCandy and the Coast Spies. But Dara Kenny is certainly a very experienced rider, and the horse he chooses here tonight, Rockstar, is a really exciting, fairly new one for him.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think the time will be a factor for Dara. He's always great at riding a very efficient track. You already see right there from 3 to 4, stayed very tight to that island. Well done through there. He really keeps the horse in great balance. You'll see again here, he's going to be very tidy and quite tight around this Cabana Coast Oxer. Jump this vertical, slow down for the 4. And then I think, again, you'll see him really think of his time here around this turn. And as he comes through that turn, he's just going to balance up and slow it down for this 5. Jump A. And unfortunately, that back rail gets him there.
But it was efficiently ridden, and the time's looking pretty good. Yeah, very good on the clock, 62.38 his time, but the back rail of that B element of the Major League double is what catches him out.
Yeah, you know, that was a well-ridden round, very efficient, took care of the clock well, but, you know, 4 faults there. I mean, it's a good start. It's a great start, actually. You know, the course has proven to be quite difficult tonight. I don't think that's going to change halfway through. So, you know, he's got Manuel coming on one of his best horses, and maybe one of the best horses in Mexico, and Lily, who won the 5-star Grand Prix last week, behind him. So, good spot.
Yeah, really good squad. I think on paper, if you were looking at a team that you would expect to do well tonight, this would certainly be one of them. Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne, his horse is Hortensia van der Leeuwerk. Another experienced combination.
You know, this is one of those spots you see Spy Coast in 11. So, you know, for Trailblazers to take the lead, they're going to need at least 1 clear out of the next 2. Yeah. Again, they don't necessarily have to take the lead to move on, but you know, taking the lead here would guarantee that you move on.
Save them a little bit of stress as they watch the remaining teams.
Exactly.
So again, he's keeping things quite tight in his line there, isn't he? He's certainly not wasting any time. I'm sure they'll have had a little bit of a chat among them as a team to just discuss what the best way is to approach this course.
Yeah, you know, it's just a tricky enough course because you're indoors, you have the crowd right up on the side here. The time allowed is tight, so you kind of have to stay on it the whole way. You don't have a lot of time to sort of take your foot off the gas, and that always causes mistakes.
Causing mistakes in round 1, but when we head to the speed factor even more in rounds 2 and 3, I think we could see that play a part even more. But he's quick around that turn. He took a little bit of a wider line, but still really kept the pace up.
Just slow it down here. Oh, that was well done. Clock is close. I think he's all right.
Could be a little bit tight for time.
There we go. He is within.
Yeah.
And that is first clear for this team, second clear tonight. And, you know, that puts them in a powerful spot, you know. 4 faults, 2 down. You got your anchor rider to go, Lily Keenan. They got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, great result for them. Gives us, as you say, our 2nd clear of the night. The other one, of course, went to Shane Sweetenham. So Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne absolutely giving a little bit of wiggle room to Lily Keenan. She might not need it. She jumped really well with the team last week with this horse. That, of course, was her her 2nd appearance for the team.
Yeah, you know, adding Dara and Lily and Manuel for the second half. You know, Trailblazers really revamped after that first half. I know Daniel Blumen had to focus a bit on the World Cup and wasn't able to do this Mexico tour, but Kara really got to work. She's really stacked the deck for herself here.
Yeah, and it's an exciting lineup, and it's exciting to see that it is quite different to the first half of the season. I think, you know, we're with a team like Legano, we know what we know what we've got, we know what we're expecting to see, but this is completely new, and I'm sure we'll be ruffling a few feathers among the other teams. This is very fast as well.
Yeah, you know, I would say at this point the time is taken care of, and there's really no rush from here on. You know, I think that time is definitely in everyone's head now after seeing so many time faults early.
And
she got lucky there.
And that's where the draw really comes into play.
All right, she's just got to slow it down now and jump this last line. That's well done. Just watch the front bar here. And easy. All right, easy as that, Hannah.
Done, just like that. I mean, wow, what a performance as a team. It finishes them with a clear from Lily Keenan, well inside the time allowed on 4 in total, 186.74. It's a very fast time. It's our fastest team time so far, and so Team Legano drop below the cut line, and Helios are in 4th.
Yeah, this is interesting. So Trailblazers have clinched. We know they're moving on. Lugano's out. They can go back to the barn. Our front runner Helios is on that cut line. You know, they had to go first tonight. They actually lost the draw party. They had to go first, and that is not an advantage in this class.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that actually 2 of their riders had time penalties just tells you that had they been able to watch a few more teams, maybe they might have gone a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it may have changed their strategy a bit, you know. I mean, yeah, 3 to go. I mean, they're not out of it yet, but be interesting to see. We got Crusaders coming, and they're actually riding a different lineup than they've ridden so far this season. I know they don't have their anchor Nicholas Pizarro tonight. They're going with kind of the younger squad.
Yeah, exciting young squad for them. So here's their lineup for tonight. It's Tali de Jong, Tanimara Makari, and Rupert Winkleman. And they've got some good horses on the squad as well. Crusaders, of course, the team that have 6 new riders following that mid-season transfer window. So we're now getting to grips with that entirely new squad. But this is quite a different lineup. This is not something we've seen before. They're perhaps the unknown quantity tonight.
Yeah, you know, Crusaders are also in contention that championship race. You know, they were 4th after the first half. They're definitely kind of in contention. You know, if they could have a big result tonight, I think it would set them up well, because they do have Daniel Coyle coming to join them for the final 2 legs in California. So, you know, pulling off something tonight could be huge for this team.
So Tali de Jong kicks things off for them. She rode this horse last week as well for the team. Picked up a few faults there.
Yeah, you know, Tali, younger rider on the tour, definitely had some big strides this year, I'd say. She's had some really, really good results in some big classes. That's not the way you want to start, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. There are a lot of fences in this arena, and just to have that first fence down sometimes can make the horses sort of sit up and take notice, or it can set the tone for the course. I mean, she's getting quite a lot of height over some of these fences now, so maybe it had the effect of giving the horse a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah, you know, maybe just started a little bit slow and a little bit under the pace, but this is looking a lot better now. Let's see if she can handle this very delicate line. You need to ride the back pole first, and then you need to slow down. Make as much room as you can. Well done. Watch the front pull, don't rush.
Yeah, nice down that final line. She's
and time is good.
Just inside. 600th of a second inside the time allowed, but 1 fence down. What a shame it being that first fence.
You know, she knocked down number 1, you thought, oh no, and then she really put it together and rode a fantastic round. What a great result from Tali, and what a great leadoff here for the Crusaders.
Brilliant performance. They've got a little bit of wiggle room to stay ahead of, say, Team Helios, but not too much at all. They've got to watch the clock, and they've got to keep the fences up. This combination have been jumping pretty well, actually, this week so far. It's Tanimara Makari and Ivy Chika.
Yeah, you know, this horse, I know, jumped the team class down in San Miguel and jumped fantastic and actually delivered a nice clear for them. They actually made the cut there. So Tanamera comes back in again this week, and you know, you look at the numbers here. I mean, between her and Rupert, if they can get home with 4 or less between them, they'll clinch a spot in round 2.
Well, the Crusaders are in 4th place in the season standings. 34 points is their tally so far, and they've been on the podium 3 times already.
Yeah, I know Nick Del Gioio, who was on their team for the first half, actually had a big win in Toronto just a few nights ago.
Yes.
I know he's been watching closely to see how this team can do for the second half and see if they can bring home a podium placing at the end of the year.
This is a horse that covers the ground well. She's trying to get some of the pace up, but actually I think making the most of that quite large stride is what she needs to be doing here. It'd be interesting to see how this horse goes down this line.
Easy. Oh, she's
yeah,
deep.
Very short in there.
Okay, it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, bring it home, Tanamera.
What a good horse to still pick up for the double. Really nice down this line though as well.
Time is close. All right, it's going to be 1.
Just one, yeah.
What a performance there for Tanamera.
Yeah, fantastic for Tanamera. 1 time penalty, so it'll be 5 in total for the Crusaders. So still leading the way, we have the Trailblazers with 4. 1 fence down for Rupert Winkleman. We'll see them still go through.
Yeah, you know, you could have 1 down. 1 down and a time fault would actually also be enough to get them through. You know, if they end up on 11, then we go to the time, and they're probably going to be slower. So you'd definitely like to get home here, sort of clear or 4, and guarantee that spot into round 2.
Well, this is our first appearance for Rupert Winkleman on the team competition. His horse is Omar van der Hunters. And so another slightly unknown quantity for the team, but he's certainly a rider who's got all the potential to do well. And this is another athletic looking horse. He's got a little bit of room left to him by his teammates, and as you say, he can have 1 down, he can have 1 down and 1 time, or he could just take it a little bit steadier and have, say, 3 time penalties, and they would be guaranteed a place in the second round.
Yeah, you know, a class like tonight, the time is tight enough that I think if you ease off, you could easily have 6 time faults. I think tonight is a night you got to kind of ride the time and hope to leave the fences up. You know, he's a little bit slow there around that turn from 1 to 2, and that was one of the most unlucky rails we've seen all night.
Yeah, very late falling pole. It was a really light rub. Oof. And that's not what he would have wanted. And actually, these fences come up so quickly, he will have to take a circle before fence 5, because they just come up so quickly. He completely lost his rhythm coming there.
And they're actually going to give him a tone and have him reapproach that combination. I'm not sure why they decided that.
Yeah, he went through the flag, so I was... Well, it looks like he's incurred elimination there. We'll just confirm that result for you as soon as we have a little bit more information on that. So Rupert Winkleman just now heading out of the arena. So we're just getting a little bit more information on the result for Rupert Winkleman.
I think they actually had an error from the timer there. I don't think he is eliminated.
Yeah, I
think he's going to pick up sort of where he left off here.
Because I believe, you know, he went through the flags for 4A and 4B. Yes, knocked 4B down, but should be given the opportunity.
Oh, he's going to just take a courtesy fence and call it a day. Okay, so that will be an elimination. That is going to eliminate the team. Unfortunately, they were in a great spot after 2 riders, but that did not go his way tonight. Elimination. That's going to push them all the way down to 8th on the night.
Just taking another look at that there. So, unfortunately, it is elimination for Rupert Winkleman, and because, of course, we have 3 riders and all 3 scores count, that means that it will be elimination for the Crusaders, and what we're going to have there is them finishing in 8th place overall, unless another team has an eliminated rider, but hoping that that won't be the case. So it looks like the Crusaders will be finishing in 8th place. Sure, so good news is for Spy Coast, they've clinched their spot in round 2. They're going to move on. You know, Northern Light is in that very uncomfortable position, as are Helios with 2 teams to go. They're definitely not safe, but they definitely have a chance. We've got 2 teams to come, and you know what, Hannah, in this class, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and that is not a position that Team Helios are used to being in either. Well, our next team in will be the Roadrunners. The lineup for the Roadrunners will be Alberto Michan with Nabal de Trivera, Alexis Sokolov with Vasily Designeur, and Kyle King and Etalon. So I believe, Hannah, they're just looking for a replacement on that yellow plank from 4B. I think it incurred a little damage there with the last one, and we're just holding up for a moment, waiting for a replacement plank. So we have 2 teams left to go. They will be the Roadrunners and Team Eye Candy, and they could be crucial teams in this competition. Remember, the Roadrunners are in 6th place in the overall season standings with 26 points, and Team Eye Candy are the team who are in 2nd. 41 points for them in the overall season standings. These could be crucial performances still to come. At the moment, we know that the Trailblazers have clinched their spot in the 2nd round. Coast Spies also clinched their spot, but it's looking a little bit, there's a question mark over the Show Plus Northern Lights and Team Helios. Yeah, you know, Crusaders really had bad luck there. They were in a great spot, and it wasn't Rupert's night, unfortunately, but yeah, Trailblazers and Spy Coast are going on. And again, you know, this is just qualifying, really, in this class. Round 1, you know, you just want to get in. You get into round 2, you start from scratch. So, and that's kind of when the race starts. So this is really just find a way, scrap your way through, stay above that cut line, and move on. Well, it's an absolutely incredible atmosphere in here tonight as well. We've got absolutely packed out VIP area. The stands for spectators are also looking pretty full on the side of the arena opposite to us. We've also got people lining all 4 sides of this arena. It's so exciting with the lights on in here. And the crowd are getting behind them as well with the music for the teams as well. It's just creating such an exciting atmosphere, and one that's completely different to anything we've seen before this season. Yeah, you know, Mexico really knows how to put on an event, and I'd say tonight is a special event. Very, very much so. I'm sure this is one that will be sticking in many of these teams' memories for quite some time to come. So here we go then with the Roadrunners. First rider in for them will be Alberto Michan and Nabal de Trivera. He's really quite leading this team tonight. I saw him walking the course with Alexis Sokolov and giving her a couple of hints walking around there. She was saying it's great to have his guidance here as well. Yeah, you know, this team is, you know, they've got a great chance tonight. You know, Abby's riding his best horse here. He's had some great results with this horse all year. Alexis has a very interesting young horse that she's jumping tonight, and Kyle King has won the 150 both weeks here in Lucia. So, you know, this is definitely a team that we could see get above that cut line tonight. Yes, he's had some. Kyle King has had some brilliant performances here, but Alberto Michan, absolutely another rider who is very much on form. He had a good win with Bugatti earlier in the week as well. He's a really experienced competitor. Some great horses in his string at the moment.
And so far, I'd say, you know, this first part of the course up to about this CP Oxer hasn't caused a ton of problems tonight. It's been sort of fairly kind of to get to here, and then you got to really tighten your screws. You know, this Oxer rides a bit wide. You got to ride the back pull out of this short turn, and then again this 5 gets short. You got to make enough space at A, let them jump B, and then you got this very delicate skinny out of the turn. Takes care of that.
Oh, you can see the pole rolling in the cups.
Come on, Abby. The jumps are up. We're going to wait for the time. The jumps are up. That is clear, at least over the fences.
Yeah, so clear for jumping, and we'll just confirm the time for Alberto Michan as soon as we have it. Also, 10th.
64.1. So that's going to be 1 time fault.
Just 1 to pick up. And of course, for every second started over the time allowed, it is 1 time penalty incurred. So even though it's 1/10 of a second over the time allowed, it's still 1 penalty.
Yeah, you know, greatly off ride. I mean, if Alexis and Kyle can copy that, they'll be in first place. So great lead off, great way to start. Now let's see what Alexis can do.
And Alexis is another young rider who's just been going from strength to strength. She's really been getting the miles on the clock, jumping around Europe earlier this year. And this horse is one that she's been developing a stronger and stronger partnership with. She trains with Connor Swale, of course, and you know, he's one of the very top riders in the world. He has actually competed this horse as well in the past, so I think this combination are really well set up to try and have a really good run around here.
Yeah, you know, Alexis, first year on the tour, you know, she's had some really good results. She was actually great in Ottawa on the team, and you know, this is a newer horse for her, but obviously very capable, lots of experience, and let's see if she can deliver tonight. You see she goes 7 there. Most have gone in 6. Sort of picks it up here around the turn. Takes care of that. Now she's just got to kind of...
Nicely ridden down there.
It was. I think she's got to just kind of think about the time a bit. She's quite wide through this turn. She's going to be a little far off here. Oh, she's really lucky at A, but not as lucky at B.
Come on, let's hold it together. This horse can be a little bit hot. But she really managed that incredibly well. Managed very well down that final line as well.
All right, so 4 faults. 4 faults is the score. We'll wait on the clock here, but 4 faults is the score. 66.2, so that's 3 time faults. As we suspected, she was a bit slow. You know, that puts them on 8. You know, 8 is still not in a bad spot. If Kyle can jump clear, which he's been doing a lot these last 2 weeks, they'll clinch a spot in round 2.
Yeah, he might be a rider that you would put your money on to jump a clear round here tonight. But this is, of course, a very different question. He's been jumping clear in that big grass arena outdoors. Now he's got to jump clear indoors. But if he has 1 fence down, if he's quick, he might be able to see them go through to the second round as well, because he's got to be faster than 68 seconds.
Yeah, and 68 would be 4 time faults, so it wouldn't really matter. So if, you know, clear or 4, actually, he's going to clinch himself a spot in round 2. You know, if he were to have more than 4, the Northern Lights will clinch a spot in round 2. And I know they've just missed a few times. You know, Helios is really on the bubble here.
Helios are absolutely on the edge, and that would be a really unusual performance. They've only been outside the top 4 once this year so far. Could be a second time. And that would really open the door for teams like Spy Coast and ICANN.
Yeah, you know, it really would. It would be interesting to see if Kyle can send Helios home here.
I think the Roadrunners really deserve a very good result as well. They've been pretty consistent. They've had a couple of 4th places, 5th, 6th. They've also been 7th.
So far, so good. Time looks good. He's on a nice pace. Okay, now we come up to the meat of this course.
That was pretty perfectly judged down to the Major League double.
Yeah, that was slick. That was well done. All right, watch the front pole here, Kyle.
Yeah, nice.
Time is good.
Oh, what a round.
Got it, Hannah.
He's done it. He has done it. So it's going to be 8 in total for the Roadrunners. 193.09 is their time. They're going to go into second slot.
So he's done 2 things here. He's clinched Roadrunners a spot in round 2, and he's going to send Helios back to the barn.
Well, that is not what anybody was expecting tonight.
No, I would say the odds were not for Helios not making round 2. So that's a shock tonight.
That is a serious shock, and that could really make all the difference in the overall season standings. And, you know, I keep referring back to those season standings because this is really getting down to crunch time this year.
You know, and this is really going to get interesting. We've got Northern Lights, who have been unluckily 5th a number of times. We've got Eye Candy, who's 2nd in the championship, last to go. 12 faults, 198.29 is what they got to beat. They beat that, they get in, and they'll push Northern Lights down to that 5th spot yet again. You know, they got 3 strong riders. I wouldn't bet against them here.
Very strong riders they have got here on their squad. Richie Maloney with Cocoa Beach, Jacqueline Stephenson Freaky, and Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. Jacqueline is the rider who made more appearances on a team than any other rider in 2021. And Paul was also such a key part of the team last year as well. Of course, they were season champions last year.
You know, I think one thing to note is Eye Candy really takes those draw parties quite serious. I think they end up going last more than anyone. And I have to say, tonight going last is a big advantage. It doesn't mean that you're going to get the job done, but you know exactly what you have to do. And I think with a class like tonight with a tight time allowed, that's a huge advantage.
I think it really does make a really big difference here tonight. I think perhaps in an arena like last week, being in the larger outdoor grass arena, they were more able to just stick to their own plan, but here it's just been crucial because a few riders were talking about the line from 9 to 10, but actually 8 to 9, and then 10 down to 11 has been really encouraging.
Yeah, and you know, I keep thinking back, you know, I'm sure the Hatfield family who owns this team is at home watching on, but I have to say, an atmosphere like this is right up Al Hatfield's alley. I think he's going to be sad to be missing this week. Fantastic
supporters of the team series and fantastic leaders of this team, of course. But we kick off with Richie Maloney. He rode as a substitute for the team at Toronto, just had 1 pole down in round 1, and then he jumped a double clear for the team in San Miguel.
Oh, and he got a little rub on fence 1 there. It's interesting to see.
This is not necessarily the fastest round that we've seen, but that could be a strategic move. He might decide to pick up a little bit of pace, you know, around this kind of line, and in fact he does now put a bit more of a foot to the floor around that turn.
Yeah, you know, I think he landed from that Premier Auction, felt like he's probably been a bit slow and needed to speed up. I think we'll see the same thing here around this turn. Now he's got to slow it down. You can't rush this. That's well done. Time is going to be a factor. 10 seconds to get home, and you see the skinny come. I think he felt that he had been slow and maybe just rushed that jump a little. And look at that, he's actually taking care of the clock, but that skinny did fall.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, just the 1 fence down and a time of 63.73. So Eye Candy are on 4 now. They can add a little bit. They can actually have 2 more fast 4 faulting rounds if they would like. It wouldn't be ideal, but that would probably get them into the top 4. I'm going to put them on equal penalties. was with the Northern Lights, but they were quite slow. So
yeah, you know, the Northern Lights are kind of averaging a time of 66.6. So if they were to come in on 12 faults, you know, they'd have to be faster than an average of 66, 63 for the first one out. So they'd probably be in good shape for that. I suspect they're going to have to go over 12 faults to have the Northern Lights beat them here today. You know, we may see that time for the Northern Lights come to bite them again.
Well, Jacqueline Steffens with Freaky is their next rider in, and she's been such a key competitor for Team Eye Candy both last year and this season so far as well.
And you know, Jacqueline jumps this horse also in many of the Grand Prix events. She's actually currently 11th in the overall standings for the individual as well. So this has been a great horse for Team Eye Candy in both the Grand Prix and this team event.
She had a fantastic result in Ottawa as well. She was third to Kent Farrington and Connor Swale. It was one of the highlights, I think, for her this season with that fantastic performance in the 5-star Grand Prix.
You know, so far she's been quite quick and maybe a bit too quick. That's maybe the first time we've seen that Premier Oxer come down tonight.
Yeah, it's ridden well so far, but I think, as you say, a little bit of the pace just causing her to clip the fence there.
You know, that's kind of one of the interesting tests the course center's given us tonight is, you know, when that time is a little bit tight, it just forces you to rush when you wouldn't normally rush. I think Richie rushed the skinny here a bit, had it down, and, you know, you saw Jacqueline, too, really kind of maybe a little bit over the pace for that first half of the course, and she had that unlucky rail. See if she can keep it. She's able to keep it to 4. Time is good, 62.13. So she's put her anchor rider in a position that he's very familiar with. He's going to be able to have one down. It's rare that they give him that opportunity that he can have one down, but he cannot have one down and a time fault. If he has one down, he's going to have to be within that 64-second time allowed. If he can do it, Eye Candy's moving on and Northern Lights are going home. Otherwise, Northern Light will move on and Eye Candy's going home.
It really is that tight, and that's what it's all about. It's all about staying above the cut line. So it's going to come down to Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. So he can jump clear and have 1 time penalty, or 2 or 3.
Or 3.
And they will be above the cut line.
If he knocks one down, he's got to be under 64 seconds, because over 64 is going to give him a time fault. And time fault's going to put them on 13 if he knocks one down. So that's kind of the gist of it. Jump clear and you're in good shape.
And Squirt Gun's been a great horse for him in recent weeks as well. It's one that we've seen on the circuit quite a few times recently. He's been getting more and more miles on the clock in the 5 stars with this horse, but Paul himself now makes his 6th appearance for Team Eye Candy this season. Jumped great clear rounds at Traverse City and at Ottawa, as well as in Vancouver in the 2nd round as well.
Yeah, you know, Paul really is the captain of this team. He usually rides their anchor position. Occasionally they put Connor in there, but he usually rides the anchor position for this team. And you know, he's very comfortable in this position. I think he's going to be able to do it tonight.
Pace is good. He has got a determined look about him tonight.
He really does. All right, so he's taking care of sort of that first half. This is where the meat comes. See if he can keep it together. Got to really slow it down, give him time to jump A. All right, that's handled.
Oh, he has just slipped over some of these fences.
And the front bar is down. He's got to get inside that time, and he has done it by 0.5 seconds, 63.5. 4 faults, 12, and that's going to be enough. You know, another half a second there, Hannah, that would have been 13, and Northern Lights would have been on the good side of that. Unfortunately for Northern Lights, they're going to finish 5th again.
Yeah, unfortunately it will be 5th for the Northern Lights, and unfortunately they miss out on the top 4 on time faults yet again.
You know, the clock keeps catching the Northern Lights. They don't knock many jumps down. That clock has not been their friend this season.
No, it really has not. But as you can see, we'll take a short break now while the arena is just being prepared. But as you can see from that graphic on the right-hand side of the screen, we do have 4 teams going forward to round 4. They are the Trailblazers, the Roadrunners, the Coast Spies, and Team Eye Candy. The hot favourites, Team Helios, finish in 6th place, and they are going home. We'll be taking a short break, and we'll be back with round 2 in just a few minutes' time.
There are all kinds of legends here, each one of them with their own story. But there is one thing they all have in common. They all drive us to find our greatness. Greatness is not something you were born with, nor is it reserved for a few. Greatness is, in any case, a choice. It begins with a dream and transcends languages, generations, and borders. It comes from a team united in body, mind, and spirit. Because by joining forces, the extraordinary can be achieved. True greatness forges a legacy that inspires others to dream more and become more, creating a better world for those who will come next. Legends inspire greatness in others. Let's be legends.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
All you need to know about round 2. 4 teams advance to round 2, 2 riders per team, and they start on a 0 score. No scores are carried over. In this round, it's only time that counts. 3 seconds are added to the time for each rail dropped. The 2 slowest teams advance to the bronze medal round. The 2 fastest teams, though, advance to the gold medal round. Round 3. Here the decider. This is where the battle really comes down to the finish. 1 rider per team, the rider that did not jump in round 2. Here you play the strategy. The winner, simply the fastest from your round. Speed puts you on the podium.
Trailblazers finished with the best score so far with 4 penalties. Of course, these scores get discounted for round 2, and this will just decide the order that they jump in for round 2. So because Team Eye Candy finished in 4th, they will be first in round 2. Coast Spies will be second in. They will finish 3rd in round 1 with 11 penalties, and then the Roadrunners will be 3rd in, followed by the Trailblazers. They are in pole position for round 2. Those 4 teams at the bottom of the list below the cut line, they are the ones that are going back to the stables, and they're not progressing through. Crusaders finish 8th, Legano finish 7th, Helios finish 6th, and that changes things a little bit in terms of the season standings. They still won't be able to be caught because they'll still pick up 3 points in the season standings for a 6th place finish, but it could very much close the gap between them and Eye Candy or the Coast Spies. It's absolutely all to play for here, Kian.
Yeah, you know, what a great first round. You know, Eye Candy and Spy Coast, you know, just getting in, but just enough to move on is all that really matters. Trailblazers, as we've said, you know, they've really strengthened their team here for the second half. That's weeks in a row where they're going to be moving on to round 2, and you know, they're looking very strong. Roadrunners have been kind of knocking the door all year and haven't had that chance. Now, Hannah, the jump off here is very interesting. So fence 1 is at Cabana Coast, same fence as round 1. Now we roll back tight on fence number 2, which is the green cactus. You'll see that Skinny is gone. Gallop all the way down to fence 3. We continue on, kind of keep the same track as round 1 here to fence 4A and B, which is that yellow combination right on the side of the ring there. Once we get through this combination, this is where we kind of change it up a bit. There's a right turn. You're probably going to be able to stay inside of this Oxford that our graphic here is going around. And there's a new gray vertical, number 14, right across the middle of the ring. Okay, number 14, it's 1.55 m high. Going to be interesting to see sort of how much risk they take. Then we have a tight rollback here. We saw this in round 1, just around fence 3 on this Oxer. Then you're going to gallop down the ring. You'll see that A part of this Major League double that was there in round 1 is now gone. We're just going to have 9B. And then we've got a serious run for home. I think there's going to be a little gap between the Cactus jump and the Cabana Coast that they're going to be able to go through. Like you see the graphic here, and they're going to run all the way home to fence number 12. That was our last fence in round 1. Round 1, we had a plank there, Hannah. Round 2, they switch it up to a pole.
Gives them a little bit more opportunity to gallop to the last, but they've still got to be very careful there. I think it's interesting as well, we've got more space from 8 then to 9B as well.
Yeah, you know, this round is different than the first round. The first round we were false, we were counting scores. Now it's all about time. Each team picks 2 riders out of their 3, so you kind of got to go back to the sort of drawing board and go over your strategy. Do you ride your fastest 2, or do you save your fastest for the gold medal match? So you choose 2 out of 3. If you knock one down, here we're adding 3 seconds, so it's not false. 3 seconds added. We add those 2 times together, and you're going to see that graphic will come up in the corner once we get going. The fastest 2 teams will go on to the gold medal match, and the slowest 2 teams are going to battle it out for bronze. And in those medal matches, whoever you didn't jump this round, you kind of save them for a one-on-one matchup in the medal match. So definitely some strategy. Who do we have riding tonight?
I think there's been some really interesting strategic choices here. So for Team Eye Candy, they of course are going to be first in. We've got Richie Maloney and Jacqueline Stephens coming here in round 2.
So they're saving Paul O'Shea.
Exactly, saving Paul for that medal jump off. Even more interesting for me is the choice that the Roadrunners have made. So they've picked Alberto Michan and Kyle King for round 2, and they're saving Alexis Sokolov for the medal jump off?
Well, you know, there's an interesting discussion that goes on between these teams week to week. If you don't get in the gold medal match, you cannot win no matter what. It's not possible. So do you ride your fastest 2 in this round and take your best shot at getting in? You know, if you get in, the worst you are is silver. If you don't get in, the best you are is bronze. So there's definitely some discussion week to week, and you know, we kind of see the teams change their strategy every week, it seems. But yeah, the Roadrunners look like they're going to go with their strongest 2 in this round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Alexis has certainly got the potential, but as you say, they're wanting to get through to that gold medal jump off. The Coast Spies have picked Jordan Coyle once again for the medal jump off, so it's going to be down to Shane Sweetenham and Lacey Gilbertson to get them through to there.
You know, they usually do get the job done, so I'd feel pretty good about that.
It's been a great lineup so far, so I'm really excited to see how they get on. But it looks like we will be having our first rider coming in now. Representing Team Eye Candy, first up for them will be Richie Milone. He was first in for them in round 1, and now he's the first rider to tackle the second round.
Yeah, so again, in this round, all we're doing, you knock one down, we add 3 seconds. Both riders ride, we add your times together, that's your score for this round. Fastest 2 teams move on to the gold, slowest 2 go on to the bronze.
And it was very much a fast set of rounds in round 1. You know, they were finishing in 60 seconds, 66 seconds. It was very, very quick. The time allowed was 64, but it was pretty influential. Here in round 2, they've got to ride it like a jump off.
Yeah, you know, they've got to be fast. You know, usually in this part of the class, if you go, you know, a slow clear is basically useless. You got to go for it. Again, you know, at the start of this course here, you're going to see they have taken that skinny out. So from 1 to 2, I think we're going to get some very tight turns. Good place to take a little risk and kind of get ahead of the clock.
Well, Richie Milone just going to take a little bit of a look at the final fence there, just maybe having a little bit of a look at his line there, or just letting the horse see the fences before he tackles this course, but he's heading now to fence 1.
All right, here we go. So fence 1, the Cabana Coast. Turn as tight as you can back on this cactus vertical. Then gallop down to fence number 3.
But as you were saying, it's as fast as you dare, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, he's a little slow to the double. He was also a bit slow there in the first round. And you'll see he gets that inside turn inside 9B back in this new fence, fence 14, the gray vertical. And then again, as tight as you can around this 3rd jump. Jump that oxer. You see him going 7 strides down there. We may see 6, probably not. And then it's a gallop for home all the way across the arena.
Nicely down to the final line. 45.82 is his time. Do you think we might see a few quicker than that?
Yeah, you know, the good news is he's clear, so nothing to add. You know, 45.82, I don't think that's very fast. You know, I think he was quite conservative in a number of places. Now, in the first round, we thought he was quite slow, and he actually wasn't. He made the clock, so that horse may be deceptively quick as well.
True. I think it covers the ground well, and I think when you look at some of his turns, he was trying to keep a tighter line. Of course, with some horses, the better thing to do is to just really keep the pace up and take slightly wider lines. So I think it'd be really interesting to see how we see the riders approach this course differently.
Now, Jacqueline Steffens is up next. Now, she's had the most success in this class when she rides with Amy. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, when those 2 ride together, this team is almost unbeatable. Amy's not here this week, so Jack's going to have to she's going to have to carry the Canadian flag by herself tonight. But this is a fast horse, very experienced combination now, and be very interesting to see what she can do tonight.
Well, she's got quite a good pace up as she comes to number 1. She's a rider that tends to keep that consistent pace up throughout her rounds.
You know, she got away with a good rub there on fence number 1, started very strong, galloping down here well.
She knows this horse so well.
She really caught that combination well. You see her already looking for that turn out of the double. Now here you can only be so fast because when you land, you got to spin right back. And now you can open it up. She's going 7 also. Watch that front pull. And now it's a run for home. How much risk do you dare?
Well, she's gone for a little bit more than Richie, but 42-48, nothing to add as well.
Nothing to add. You know, as we suspected, you know, that's probably more in line with where these times can be. 42-48. You're going to see in the top corner now 88.3. So that is the combined times of their two riders, and that becomes the time to beat for the next three teams.
So once again, they've got to stay above the cut line. So we'll have two teams go through to the gold medal jump off. We'll have two teams going through to the bronze medal jump off. So do keep an eye on that graphic in the right-hand corner of your screen to see who's going through.
Yeah, now we should be seeing the Coast Spies up next. We are. Coast Spies are up next, and that means we're bringing in one of the best riders in the world to lead this off.
So yes, indeed, we do have the Coast Spies. Shane Sweetnam is in the ring now, and he'll be first to go for them. So there we have your lineup for the Coast Spies. It's Shane Sweetnam with Birdie Do Tho. This is an experienced horse.
Yeah, this is a deadly combination. I think he's going to be very fast here. You know, this horse is quite quick, quite nimble. This is probably a great setting for it indoors here. Going to be very interesting. That's the fastest we've had from 1 to 2 so far.
Really tight line.
And he's had a rail there, so you're going to see 3 seconds added to that run time. It should be added in live time as we go, so it should already be in there. Watch that front pull, and now turn for home and open it up.
And open it up, he's having a good gallop down to the last.
And we're going to be right in line with Richie, 45.59. That is a very similar time to Richie Maloney.
Very, 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 very close. It's the first fence that we've had down in this second round, but 45.59 is going to be that total score. So
actually, yeah, Richie led off 45.82. So that is, even with those 3 seconds added, that is faster than Richie. 45.59, so just ahead of Richie. Now Jacqueline was very fast. You know, we've got Lacey, and you know, she's been kind of, like we said, the MVP of the season. She's going to have to beat 42.71 for them to take the lead here. 42.71 is her target.
She can be quick. She can be very quick.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, if she knocks one down, it's probably not possible. You know, that 3 seconds in the indoor is probably too much to make up, but for sure, if she's clear, she has a good chance to make that time.
So she really needs to keep all of the fences up, but she has been the most consistent rider for any team so far, so she's a good one to bet on to try to get them into the gold medal jump off. But Team Eye Candy have absolutely laid down a brilliant target for them to try to beat. Jordan Coyle is the rider that the Coast Spies are saving for the medal jump off.
One stride more than Shane on that first turn. That was fast.
Yeah, good line down there.
Now she just wants to look out. Brilliantly done there. I gotta say, you know, this horse is flying tonight.
But again, she's just been going from really, really strength to strength as a rider, and she's just got this horse going absolutely as she wants, and now opens up.
Come on, Lacey, get home. It's not gonna be quite fast enough. 44.88. You know, now we're starting to see that time of Jacqueline Steffens. That was fast. 44.88, 90.47. You know, definitely not out of it. 90.47. I think those were two very good times. You know, with that rail from Shane, unfortunately, those 3 seconds added is the difference there. They would have been 87.47. But Eye Candy's going to hold that lead, 88.3. 2 teams to go.
And it's so tight between those two in the season standings. Just 1 point separates them. So this could be a crucial result in terms of where they sit overall in the season.
So I think we're seeing tonight maybe a little different than when we run this class in a big field. You know, those 3 seconds make a big difference. You know, I think it's going to be very hard for someone to catch eye candy with the rail down.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So even though, you know, we're not going on faults in time, as you say, a rail down just makes all the difference, especially in a ring like this. The Roadrunners come next, though, and they've chosen to field Alberto Michan and Kyle King here in round 2. Alberto will come first.
Yeah, you know, I have not seen Alberto on this horse in many jump-offs, so I don't know this horse so well. But, you know, we're looking for, you know, something around the 44-second range to put them, you know, kind of put them on pace with eye candy.
He's really got to go for it. He did have a win earlier on this week. That, though, was with Bugatti. But he proved that he could be a fast rider then.
Abby can be fast. We all know Abby. He can be fast. And the absolute worst thing that can happen is knocking down number 1.
That is not what he wants to set himself up here. He knows what a difference that's going to make.
He's got to keep the pedal down.
But coming through that double, he was really trying to make the turn almost before he landed.
All right, Abby, bring it home.
Oh, and he has the last fence as well. First time that we've seen that go, but he tried to gallop for it and unfortunately just clipped that as well. So it's 48.88.
And it's actually going to be 51.88 with that last trail, which is going to be very, very difficult. That means Kyle's going to have to beat 36.42 for them to push eye candy out, which is probably not possible. Going to have to be around 38 seconds to catch Spy Coast, which would be 4 seconds off Jacqueline Steffen's time. I'd say the cards are currently stacked against him.
He has got a bit of a mountain to climb here. So 51.88 makes it so very, very difficult for Kyle King to get his team into the gold medal jump-off. Eye Candy, first team out in round 2, but they're looking strong.
Yeah, I'd say the Hatfield family is feeling pretty confident they're going to be jumping off for gold tonight. You know, Spy Coast is definitely not there yet. You know, we got the Trailblazers to come. And, you know, if someone could pull off a miracle, it's this guy. He is fast. He actually won both 150s over the last 2 weeks. You know, this horse has been probably the fastest horse at Major League Show Jumping in the last 2 weeks. So if it can be done, it's Kyle King.
Very much an on-form rider. The horse is on form. It's been going really well, as you say, in the last couple of weeks. It is down to him. You can see he's just taking a look around the arena. He's just taking a look at his lines.
So to keep his team alive, it would be 38.59 exactly. Got to beat 38.59 to keep the Roadrunners alive.
But that would be a lot faster than what we've seen so far even. So it's such a stiff task here.
That's the fastest so far from 1 to 2.
Really good turn.
And that's brilliant. Come on, Kyle. All right, turn for home and give it.
He's got a gallop, but look at the clock.
This is fast. I don't think it's going to be fast enough. What an effort. 42.6.
It's a great, great effort, isn't it?
A fantastic run time, you know, just 0.1 off of that Jacqueline Steffens time. It's not going to be enough, unfortunately, but that was a fantastic effort.
Fantastically done. He absolutely galloped for the last bit. His turns earlier on as well just really saved the time. And so it's 94.48 in total for the Roadrunners, who have just got one team left to jump here.
So we know we've got Paul O'Shea for eye candy in that gold medal match. Does he jump off against Jordan Coyle, or does he jump off against Derek Kenny? Either way, we're going to have a heck of a battle. You know, the average time for Spy Coast is 45.2. So we're going to have Trailblazers looking to beat an average time of about 45.23 is their sort of target coming in here. You know, they don't have to beat eye candy; they just need to get into that match. So they've got to beat the time of Spy Coast here.
Yeah. So, riding for the Trailblazers in this second round, we have Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne and Lily Keenan. Manuel will go first. Had a brilliant performance in round one, jumping a clear round. One of only 4 clears that we had in the whole of round one.
Yeah, you know, this is one of the best horse rider combinations in Mexico. You know, super competitive, jumped a lot of championships. So, you know, as I said, Kara Rather she came to the second half to play. She wants to really challenge Helios for this championship.
New lineup, new riders. It's pretty turning around for them in this second half of the season.
Yeah, you know, and you know, I know they're sort of all getting familiar with the format now, and you know, I find with this class, when you get familiar with the format, it gets it really makes a big difference. Ooh, he's 2 strides extra on that rollback. He kind of lost the rideability a bit. He's got a little time to make up.
He did well to keep things together, not to have the fence, though.
He did. And that was quick, and that was a great turn. Stay smooth.
He stood off that fence a bit.
And spin for home. Crowd is behind him.
Getting behind the Mexican riders.
There we go. And that is a great time. 43.21 Hannah. About 2 seconds up on that average that they're looking for against Spy Coast. What
an amazing performance. And it could have been quicker as well if he hadn't had that slight issue on the turn back to 2.
Yeah, you know, that's a great way to lead off. So that takes a little pressure off Lily here. She's going to have to beat 47.26. 47.26. to push Spy Coast down into that bronze medal match. Anything slower than 47.26, and it's going to be Spy Coast. So
ideally, she needs to keep the fences up as well, because it'll be really tough if she has a fence down.
Yeah, you know, having a fence down, she'd have to be a run time similar to what Manuel just did. You know, she can do it. She's obviously very capable. I believe she maybe had 1 down in the jump off last week on this horse in this class, or possibly 2 down. So, you know, it's definitely not over.
Yeah, she just clipped 2 fences there, but that still got them into the gold medal jump off. So she's been in this position before. She knows what she's got to do.
So far, she's about the same as Manuel on that first turn. That was quick.
Nicely through there.
A little wide here. Decided to add 1. I'd say as long as she leaves them up, she's fine. If she knocks 1 down, this is going to get really close.
She's got to be about 45 seconds or less.
She's got about 8 seconds to get home. As long as she doesn't knock it down, they're going on. She does knock it down. 44.67. We're going to add 3. And it's going to be 47.67. That is not going to be enough, Hannah. That last rail is going to be absolutely devastating. 90.88. And it will be Spy Coast. Spy Coast versus Eye Candy. our second and third place teams in the championship are going to go head-to-head for the gold. Helios finishes 6th. We got a shake-up coming tonight.
Yeah, real shake-up coming. This is such an exciting competition, and it's just so tight in the season standings, as you say, between Eye Candy and Coast Spies. They are the teams who are battling it out for a place higher and higher in the season standings. They're gaining on Helios, and this could be crucial. They're just 1 point behind each other. 1 point separates them in the standings, and now we have them in the gold medal jump-off. But we thought it could go to Trailblazers to go for the gold, but it's not. They'll be 3rd or 4th.
You know, that was so interesting because really Lily just had to jump the last jump. But, you know, you hear the crowd getting behind you and whistling, and, you know, every rider is going to kind of hit the gun and go for it. You know, she probably didn't need to there. You know, those 3 seconds ended up being about 0.4 too many, so she had about 2.5 seconds in hand. You know, that's how it can change quickly.
Exactly, it can change so very, very quickly. So ahead of the cut line are Eye Candy and Coast. We'll now have a short break before we bring you those final medal jump-offs.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com. Absolutely edge of the seat competition in that second round. We had 4 teams going through. They were Eye Candy, Coast Spies, Trailblazers and the Roadrunners, and we have the results in for round 2. The Roadrunners had a couple of unfortunate additions to their times, and so they finished the second round in 4th place. The Trailblazers also had a bit of an agonizing result with Lily Keenan just clipping the final fence, and so she finished the Trailblazers in 3rd place, and those 2 teams will go through to the bronze medal jump off. Eye Candy though and Coast Spies were the teams that finished on top and above the cut line, so they'll go forward and jump off for the top spot.
Yeah, you know, this is kind of what this class comes down to. You know, every now and then in a big Grand Prix, we get a head-to-head jump off, but you know, this format kind of guarantees it. So we're gonna have a head-to-head, one-against-one jump off. Fastest time is gonna win. Same format as last round. We had 3 seconds if you knock one down. And for bronze, we are going to have Alexis Sokolov take on Dara Kenny. Talk about David and Goliath.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting matchup. Alexis is absolutely going to leave it all out there. I think she's really going to go for it. It's only her second appearance for the team this season. And this is her first season on the Major League circuit. And then, of course, going up against Dara Kenny, who's potentially one of the most experienced competitors that we have here in the field today.
Yeah, you know, the nice thing for Alexis is she has nothing to lose. You know, she's probably not expected to beat Dara, so she's got nothing to lose here.
Yeah.
She gets to go first, so she can kind of, you know, lay it all out there and see if Dara can catch her.
Well, it's certainly going to be a very exciting competition for both the third place and for the first place as well. Alexis rides Fasoli de Seigneur, and that's a horse we've seen go better and better in recent weeks.
Yeah, you know, newer horse for her on tour. We saw it the last few tour stops, so kind of been getting to know it. You know, definitely a very interesting horse. You know, we see her coming down to the gate now, but Hannah, this is what it's all about. This is when they lay it all out. You know, we got the bronze medal match, and then we get the pleasure of having, you know, Eye Candy versus Spy Coast. Who's going to hold on to second place in the championship?
It's absolutely all to play for those teams, especially. Well, we are having the Roadrunners team come next. They are in 6th place. They're on 26 points in the season standings. So far, their best performance was a 4th place finish. So if Alexis could get them into 3rd, that would be their best result of the year so far.
Yeah, you know, this team definitely deserves to be on the podium. They've been very close a number of times. Some bad luck here and there. As I said, she does not have an easy task here, but I think going first is an advantage here. Let's see what she can do. She's done 8 from 1 to 2. Great there. Little tentative into this double. She's not going to get away with it. 3 seconds added for that rail.
Well, she did well to make that turn tightly after the double as well.
She did. Gets the 7 done there.
Oh, she was fast as well to the Major League Oxer.
Keep going, come on. Oh, and the last is going to come as well. So 49, we're going to add 3 more. That's going to be 52.89. 52.89. You know,
so she's left the door open a little bit for Dara.
She's left the door open. You know, like I said, you know, it's kind of David versus Goliath. You know, you've got Alexis, who, you know, her 2nd time jumping this class, 1st year on tour, versus one of the top 20 riders in the world. Definitely a tough task, but that's kind of what this class is all about. You know, getting the chance to go up against people like Dara. And hey, this is show jumping. It's not over. You never know. Dara's got to beat 52.89 for the bronze.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over, and I think that was a really great performance from her. She really had a big gallop from 8 to 9B, and she really did go for it. Into the ring, though, now comes Dara Kenny with Rockstar, this very, very exciting horse for him. He's had this in our 5-star Grand Prix twice already, and it's going extremely well.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I would expect Dara to be able to kind of, you know, come in and do what he's known for. You know, do some tight turns, stay in balance, and be able to secure this bronze medal. But you know, he's still got to jump the jumps.
Still got to jump the jumps. He's eyeing up those turns, as you mentioned, just making sure that he knows exactly where he's going, exactly what he's got to do. But he's been in this position in many times in his career to do a jump off for a good result. Now he's got to do it for the Trailblazers team.
And we see him actually do 6. That's the fastest of anyone in the class tonight. Very fast there as well. Just a nice smooth turnout. You just see him kind of coming off the gas a little here. Little rub there. Just got to jump it, and he's going to secure this bronze. And he's done it.
Yeah, nicely done. Really nice down that final line. So 45.3 is his time. Keeps all the fences up, so we have nothing to add. So Derek Kenny clinches the 3rd spot, that bronze medal spot for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, you know, that's a great result there. You know, Trailblazers now 2 weeks in a row, 2 podiums. You know, their team is really starting to click and come together. I think they're going to be really happy with that result, and you know, job well done.
Job extremely well done. So we now go forward to the jump off. That is going to make a lot of difference in the overall season standings. It is going to be Team Eye Candy versus Coast Spies. Coast Spies going first, and it's Jordan Coyle in the medal jump off once again.
You know, this team, or this matchup has quite a bit of history. You know, last year Coast, a lot of the riders rode for the Lucky Charms. There was quite a rivalry there. So, you know, I know Jordan and Paul have faced off before. This should be an interesting jump off.
Picador's a horse that Jordan's ridden to some brilliant performances this year so far. They've been very consistent. He's just asking the arena party to just double check fence 3. Just making sure everything's in order before he tackles this course. Doesn't want to leave anything to chance.
All right, this combination can be deadly quick. He's on 7 strides there. See him really quick across the ground here. Catches the combination nicely.
Good turn back as well.
Takes care of that.
I love the way that the horse is looking for the fences.
Handles a 7, and here he comes. Nice turn.
One more.
And he's done it. 43.35. It's not the fastest time we've seen tonight, but it is one of the fastest times. I believe it's top 3. And yeah, that's going to put some pressure on Mr. O'Shea. 43.35. He's going to have to beat it.
Piling the pressure on. That was a great performance. That was exactly what Jordan Coyle needed to do. He can perform under pressure. He can be so super fast. Picador can be a great partner for him, and we've seen it tonight.
Now, I'm sure you're going to really answer this, but how many times has Coast been second this year?
They have been second 4 times.
So 4 times. This could be that breakthrough. 43.35. You know, can they break that streak, or is Eye Candy going to hand them their 5th second place?
I think a lot of people would really like Coast to do well here tonight, you know, because they've been so close so many times. But Paul O'Shea, I'm sure, is going to have something to say about that. He is representing Team Eye Candy. The horse that he rides is Squirt Gun, and he is the rider that could keep Coast Spies away from their first win.
Yes, I know what Eye Candy won a few tour stops ago. They've won once this year, I believe.
Yes,
Legano's won once.
Traverse City, our second trip there, they won.
Okay, gotcha.
And Amy Miller was the rider that won the gold medal jump off for them there.
Well, I'm sure Amy is anxiously watching the live stream right now from Toronto, seeing if Paul can get this done. There's probably no one else they'd rather be sending in the ring than Paul on Squirt Gun right now. He's been the anchor of this team for 2 years. Let's see if he can do it.
We were saying he looks pretty determined in round 1, and he's got that game face on again here in this jump off.
Same number of strides, 1 to 2. Pretty even there. He's got to catch this coming forward, and he does. That's maybe a tiny bit quicker than Jordan there. He's left it up.
Gallop to 14.
He can catch this. Should still be 7 strides here. Easy. Jump it and then turn. And here we go. They are neck and neck, Hannah.
They are so neck and neck. The time he's got to beat.
Come on, Paul.
35.
Come on, Paul. He's done it. 42-52. Eye Candy takes the gold, and Spy Coast takes their 5th runner-up of the season.
It's just agony for the Spy Coast Spies. You know, they so deserve a win, but 5 second places, that is just incredible. But a second win for Team Eye Candy. They're well-deserved winners here tonight.
You know, that was a phenomenal jump off, and you know, Paul definitely had to pull out all the stops. I think he won it on the turn back from the yellow combination to that gray vertical. He really took a shot there. You know, he was able to win by about 0.7 seconds, and he was, you know, that was very fast. But what a great jump off! What a gold medal match!
Oh, absolutely incredible. Paul O'Shea, as you say, he's been there before, but he now clinches the gold. He clinches the top spot for Eye Candy, and that's going to change things in the season standings as well.
That is going to have some drastic changes to the season standings. I mean, as we said, you know, Helios is going to end up on 60 points. They're only going to add 3 today, and that win from Eye Candy today is going to bump them up to 51. So they're now within 9 points of the championship. You know, Spy Coast is also going to jump up to 48. So this these standings that look to be quite open going into tonight have really tightened up.
Yeah, for sure. It's really going to get much, much tighter. I mean, Helios will still hold the lead, but Eye Candy and Spy Coast Spies are gaining on them. So here are the final results from our medal jump-offs. It's Eye Candy for the win, 42-52. What a time from Paul O'Shea. Jordan Coyle for the Spy Coast Spies gets them the silver medal spot, 43-35, and a great ride from him. For the Trailblazers, it's going to be Darren Kenny to give them the 3rd place, and then Roadrunners take 4th. I think we're going to take another quick look round at Paul's round here with Squirt Gun, just to see where he managed to make up that time.
You know, this was fantastic. You know, he did 7 strides here. He'll count from 1 to 2, which is the same as Jordan. And Jordan's horse was so fast across the ground here. I almost think Jordan might have been a tiny bit up landing from number 3 here. They both caught this combination coming forward, which worked out well. But for me, this is where Paul won it. He got a great turn here, and he really stepped on the gas and took a shot. And he got away with it, you know, saved about a half a second there, and that was the difference in tonight's round. You know, they both did 7 strides here. Coming out of this Oxford, they both had a great tight turn here, and neither one left anything coming home. You know, they were both about as fast as you can be. But what a great result! I'm sure the Hatfield family is going to have a few tequila shots tonight and celebrate,
yeah, sure.
and a well-deserved win for them.
Absolutely. I mean, for me as well, you know, the gallop to fence 14, he absolutely had a foot to the floor. He really took a gamble as well, I think.
Yeah, so there you go. So we got 2 wins for Eye Candy this year, 5 for Helios. Spy Coast 5 times 2nd place. But you know, in a championship race of 10 events, it's not just about winning, it's about consistency. And Spy Coast has been knocking on that door almost every week, as has Eye Candy. You know, and with Helios kind of coming up a bit short today, I know they were also maybe 6th or 7th early in the season. You know, that it's sort of tightening up this race. We're going to have a great stage 9 and final out in California.
Yeah, and you know, you were saying earlier that it's double points for the final as well. So as these are really getting tighter in the overall points, it's just getting closer and closer, and double points could make all the difference. Well, I think we have now got Paul O'Shea down, and we're going to get a few words from him now. Stephen Wild is down at the in-gate with Paul O'Shea, who rode that winning round.
Well, there, just watching, is Paul O'Shea, watching himself win. Paul, what a day.
It's a super day, Stephen. It's very nice to win. We've been a little unlucky all season. We did win one other leg, and it's very nice to win here tonight.
For you, an Irish battle against Jordan Coyle. Friendly, but rivalry.
Absolutely. Jordan's a great guy, and we get on very well, but of course I'm trying to beat him as he's trying to beat me, so yeah.
Eye Candy getting the second win of the season. Spy Coast, I think 5 seconds now. You got ahead.
Yeah, a little bit ahead. We're quite a bit off Helios. They've been fantastic all year, and we'll just keep fighting until the end and doing the best we can.
Well, looking forward to California. It's where you were victorious last year. Could be a good finish yet.
Hopefully we'll be doing our best anyway.
Paul, congratulations for the Eye Candy team. We're going to get set for presentation.
Kind of goes down 12, but you know, a top placing at that final could really, you know, mix this up, and you know, the race is definitely not over.
It's quite interesting, I think, that when you look at the results that Team Helios have had, they've of course had the 5 wins, but then other than that they've had a 7th, a 4th and now a 6th. So it's not like they've been first and then seconds and thirds, you know, they've either won or been quite a way down. So actually going forward, it's going to be very interesting to see where they finish in the next legs, and then also how they finish in the overall season with that in mind.
Yeah, you know, if you know, if they're not up by 18 points going to the final, then obviously it's not clinched. So 18 is kind of the magic number, as 8th place takes 2 points at the final. 18 would be that magic number where you would have clinched going into the final. Probably not going to happen. I suspect they're going to have a little work to do when we get to that final.
Well, I think they will have quite a bit of work to do. Again, it's going to be quite a unique environment there. We have 2 weeks back-to-back at Thermal coming up at the Desert International Horse Park. The first week will be run in the day on that arena, and going to be during the daytime. Is going to be quite a different atmosphere to this leg. It's also going to be a very different atmosphere to the final, which will again be at night under lights.
Yeah, you know, these night classes really add a cool atmosphere to these events.
Well, Kean, I have a feeling that will you be relieving us to go and do some of this presentation down there?
Yeah, I will. Thanks for leading the way tonight, Hannah.
No, it's been great to have you here. It's been a fantastic competition, and we just have the teams coming into the ring now. The Trailblazers are there in place, ready to take their spot in the 3rd place on the podium. The Coast Spies head now into the ring. Of course, Shane Sweetenham, Jordan Coyle and Lacey Gilbertson get themselves another 2nd place finish. It was a fantastic performance from those 3 riders. They've all been so consistent on all year. They very much do deserve a win, but Jordan laid down a great time in that final jump off. Just 0.7 of a second away from a win tonight. Team Eye Candy will be coming into the ring very, very shortly, just preparing to take their place on the top of the podium. But what an atmosphere it's been in this arena tonight. It's been a really fantastic, fantastic competition. The crowds have been incredible, absolutely getting behind these riders and getting behind not only the Mexican competitors, but getting behind the teams, getting behind all of the riders, especially in that final jump off as they made that race to the finish line. Eye Candy, of course, have already had 1 win this season. That was previously in Traverse City. we'll take a couple of weeks break after this competition. We'll have 2 weeks break from Major League show jumping, and then we will progress on with legs 9 and 10, leg 10 being the final, with double points up for grabs for the teams, those taking place in Thermal in California at that Desert International Horse Park. Team Eye Candy now head into the ring along with their trusty mounts. That team, of course, being Jacqueline Steffens, Richie Maloney and Paul O'Shea. Paul O'Shea just managing to beat the time of Jordan Coyle to clinch another win. Jacqueline Steffens has dismounted from Freaky, and she's just getting ready to head over to the podium. What a well-deserved win for that trio. Horses very smartly dressed in their winners' rugs. The Trailblazers and the Coast Spies are very much ready to take their places on the podium. Well, here we go. They're all ready to take their places on the podium, and the awarding party are just down there ready to present this stunning collection of prizes to these competitors. Third place then for the Trailblazers, that team comprised of Lily Keenan, Dara Kenny and Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne. Brilliant performance from those three, clinching them the third spot, their second podium finish in 2 weeks. Well, being presented with these beautiful bouquets of flowers now. Trailblazers team have their hands quite full with their collection of prizes, very well deserved, and another great performance. These new members of the team absolutely making a difference, getting them some fantastic results and allowing the Trailblazers to climb the way up the overall season standings. Here come the Coast Spies now on the podium. Shane Sweetnam, Lacey Gilbertson and Jordan Coyle laying down more fantastic performances and clinching their 5th second place finish of the season. Just outstanding from them. They've been so consistent. Jordan Coyle just gives a wry smile. He knows he did a fantastic performance, but unfortunately just misses out on the top spot. They were so deserving of a win, but they're very much deserving of a second place as well, and it's still a fantastic finish for them. Well, our winners tonight will be next on to the podium. Paul O'Shea, Richie Maloney and Jacqueline Steffens come up onto the podium. Your very well-deserved winners of leg 8 of Major League show jumping here, our second week in a row in Monterrey in Mexico at Club Hipico La Silla. They had to perform in a large outdoor ring last week. Now we head under lights and give them this competition indoors. Quite the different question, but one that Team Eye Candy answered absolutely so ably, rising to the challenge and again receiving their very well-deserved prizes. Big smiles on the faces of Team Eye Candy. Last year's overall season champions, of course. Just taking a little bit of an opportunity for some photos.
nicely in unison there, holding up the bouquets of flowers for that photo opportunity as the champagne comes along. Paul O'Shea is making another race of the evening, racing to get his champagne. Lacey Gilbertson seems to be making a swift exit away from the podium. She doesn't want to risk being in the firing line of anyone's champagne. I think Jordan Coyle just struggling to get the top off there a little bit. Jacqueline Steffens has very much left herself in the firing line. It was always a fun moment of the night, the champagne shower. And it's another pretty big race as these riders try to catch each other with the champagne that they have so deservedly won. I think Paul O'Shea has found himself the recipient of quite the champagne shower there. And Lacey Gilbertson is going for it again to get Lily Keenan, who's then now tipping it over Lacey. Great, great results though. And brilliantly done. So the teams now just head out of the arena. Team Eye Candy stay in with their horses and stay in for another photo opportunity. I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations in Team Eye Candy tonight, certainly with the Hatfield family as well. Brilliantly, brilliantly done. Of course, the other stars of the show, or some of the main stars of the show now, also getting involved in the photos. Team Eye Candy having that photo taken with the horses. 3 horses who are very used to these prize givings and who are taking it all in their strides, looking very, very relaxed, despite having just won this fantastic competition. I'm sure there'll be plenty of treats for the horses tonight as they head back to the stables. And I'm sure we may see many of these riders taking part in our 5-star Grand Prix tomorrow. Well, here are the overall season standings. Things have been shaken up quite considerably. Team Helios still lead the way. Now they are on 60 points in total. Team Eye Candy then are now in second still with 51 points, and they have extended a 3-point lead over Coast Spies, who sit in third, 48 points for them. The Trailblazers then have 10 points gap between them and the Coast Spies. 38 points is their total. The Crusaders are in 5th, 35 points for them, while the Roadrunners sit in 6th, their 4th place here tonight, adding them a few points to now sit on 31. The Show Plus Northern Lights are in 7th place with 27 points, and Team Legano will round things out in our overall season standings with 22 points in total. That is the lie of the land. We still have 2 legs yet to come. Though both of those will be taking place in California at the Desert International Horse Park, and we will be streaming all of that live on MLSJ TV. We will also be bringing you the 5-star Grand Prix tomorrow. Quite a bit of action still to come on Sunday tomorrow. So we'll be bringing you the 5-star winning round competition first thing in the morning, followed by the 2-star Grand Prix and then the 5-star Grand Prix. But do join us for all of the action tomorrow, and of course, please do join us for another leg of this exciting team competition. It's really hotting up in the race to the finals. Just 2 legs remain for the teams. It's absolutely all to play for. I hope that you've enjoyed this competition just as much.
crowd that went into this final fence.
We have a